All right, listeners, welcome to another episode of Street Talkers. This episode, we have a very special guest, a good friend of ours. He's been on the podcast before. He is. I'm going to mention just real quick all the titles he holds: ultra runner, marathon runner, triathlon, personal trainer, strength and conditioning coach, CSUN baseball alumni, Notre Dame high school alumni.
Keep going.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
now a podcast co-host.
Yes, sir.
That's good,
yes,
right?
Sir.
Since the last time you've been on the episode on this, on the show.
Absolutely, you and all the guys inspired me, man. And actually, it was something I wanted to do for a while, and it's coming true. Just speaking my truth and my co-host partner's truth in regards to some stuff that we've learned throughout the time and whatnot. And it's called "Can't Be Broken," about overcoming adversity, and it's our topic of our adversity, and it's awesome. But literally, it's your help. That helped me kind of launch it because I knew nothing about it and I'm still learning.
Right.
And it's a never learning process, but
we're both still learning. Yeah, we're both still learning.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, just having a platform, to give back is always good, right?
For sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, you. I mean, obviously, your platform, the message you're bringing out, I think is way positive, and I think it affects more people. Not just physically but mentally than my podcast. I mean, my podcast is we're just four guys that just basically shoot the shit, right? And and it's for entertainment. It's good. And yours, I think is great because you take. I mean, me personally, when I listen to it, I mean, I'm reflecting on it for a minute after listening to it, and that's when you listen to something and you get a good podcast like that. It's always good. Always good.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you all. Our intention going into this was just to, if we could touch one person, if we could change one person's mind, body, or soul in one way or another to better themselves, and we've done our job.
Right.
But the more we can touch, the better, right? And so creating more people, more listeners, bigger audience is always best.
Right.
Networking. Hooking up with people like you, networking with people like you, inviting me on your show, being a great person as you guys are, everybody there on that show.
Thank you, man.
But as well as your podcast, man, I listen to it when I'm running, and I'm like, because I don't watch a lot of TV,
right,
or listen to a lot of stuff. I get in my zone of listening to other podcasts and whatnot. And so when I listen to yours while I'm on the treadmill or running or working out, it brings me back to like, hey, how'd the Dodgers do this week, or who's hot, who's cold, and I was keeping up and updating through that. And then I also played in the Sunday leagues, after my my college career was over. And so when you guys are giving out those the scores and who won and what league,
right,
I think that's cool because that never happened before. And so
yeah,
I'm like, man, that's cool. That team's winning, or they're dominating, or the playoffs are coming up, or this tournament's going on. I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the podcast. I mean, I listen to every episode every time it comes out on Monday, and I appreciate that, man.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it. So, you've been on the podcast before on episode 6. So if you guys, listener, if you want to go back and find out what Cesar's all about and a little bit of his history, go to episode 6. He was on the show. I thought that was a great episode. We actually went through like almost 2 hours with that one.
It was a long time.
Yeah, but it was just
it went by quick though.
Yeah, it seemed like it went by quick, because we're just into it, right?
Right.
But we won't get into like your history and what you've done and stuff like that. But I do want to get into a subject that you and I and a couple of other kids that you train along with my son.
Right.
There was a topic, and my son right now just started high school baseball, and it's summer ball, right? It's summer ball. It's games don't count. It's more like to see what each program has, right, as far as talent and the new freshmen incoming and stuff like that, and it's more of a relaxed environment.
Correct.
Okay, and you and I, and with Pancho and Gomez and Wawa, we're old school, right?
Correct.
And we've been taught from a young age, not just from our baseball coaches, but from our parents, our family. Whenever you're doing something, you go 100%.
100%. Yep.
Right, 100%, and you do it right.
Correct.
and we told them, you do it for yourself. I mean, yeah, I understand. They're kids, they're teenagers, and they're gonna feed off of what the team is doing and what they've been instructed. But like with your podcast, the message is you gotta like take self inventory, right?
Yep.
And self inventory is if am I still working hard enough for myself, not just for the team, but am I just working hard for myself in situations like that? So my kid was slacking off a little bit, and maybe, what am I gonna say? Maybe I did overreact. It was frustrating, right? Because my kid, he's a good kid. He gets good grades. He's respectful, and stuff like that. So when I'm teaching this kid these values and like that, and then when he slacks off like that, because it's something that I didn't teach him, I got super mad, man. I got like, it irked me inside, bro. So on the way home, I grilled him. On the way home.
Mm-hmm.
So what can I tell my kid, or like in your experience with kids, because you've had to stop the workout sessions because they're slacking off a little bit, and you've had to stop them and tell them, hey, look, it's fucking business, right?
Yeah.
So what? I mean, me as a parent,
yeah.
I mean, what can I do to not be so hard on them, but have them listen to the message and have them register that?
I'm very fortunate to have parents like you that actually bring their kids to me and understand the process on old school, and we're in the same mentality. So I think you're doing everything right. I think all the parents that come in here with that mindset like you, old school, is doing everything right. It's hard. It's frustrating. I think that as my parents did, they said, look, you're not going to be the best at everything. You're going to fail. But you can always try your hardest and do everything right. Things you can control. And so at the end of the day, you got upset at him because he could have been doing something different and giving his 100% and getting better. And that's the right thing to do. It's frustrating when you yell at your kids or when you get mad at them because it hurts you. They're your kids. You love them, right? It's a conflict that you're bringing out in yourself internally.
Right.
But you're doing the right thing because even though you're upset and you're grilling him and it hurts, he's going to get better for that. And that's the main thing is you're a father, right? And I'm a father as well, and I'm a teacher and I'm a coach and I'm a strength and conditioning coach. And it hurts when I take these kids aside and I said, you guys ain't working hard. Go run. Go do this. Hey, why are you guys even here? It hurts me because I love them. I want the best for them. But I have to say that because if I don't say that, and if you don't, yell at your kid or you don't do that, we're not really doing our job then. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're really not making that impact. On my podcast, sometimes I cuss a lot. And I've had some people say, hey, man, Tony, it was a really good podcast, but sometimes you cuss a lot. And I go, yeah, but it's hard to tell you what it's like running 100 miles when you're 80 miles in by just saying, oh, it was so difficult. It is so hard.
Yeah.
You have to almost go and then go, man, that fucking, my feet were fucking on fire.
Yeah, you're like,
my
fuck
heart.
This shit.
Yeah, it was almost, I'm adding something, right?
Yeah.
And so I think you going into your son for what was happening at that situation and grilling him is something that he'll remember. And then he's going to pass that on, right? Mm-hmm. We're in a different generation, for sure. We all know that.
And
you, myself, everybody.
That's a factor, too, I think,
Right.
Yeah.
And I get that, but we're still trying to do the best job we can.
Yeah.
And our incentive or our intentions for our children, for the kids that I coach, and everybody that comes in front of my door, and then even my kids, is just to make them better and realize that they're in control of their effort, of their reaction to things, how they're going to respond, their perspective. And I think that's exactly what you're doing, and you're doing you did something right that day. I mean, it was perfect. Mm-hmm. I know at that point you're like, shit, maybe I went overboard. Mm-hmm. But I guarantee you he learned a lesson.
Yeah. And adding to that, and I just want to bring back the part where you said that people say you cuss too much. I've had people tell me the same thing too. Like, there's an episode where I just drop F-bombs. I remember one episode in one sentence I dropped like 4 F-bombs in one sentence, right? But like
can that even be a sentence?
Yeah. Just transitional words in there, But like you said, it's part of the emotion. It's what's right at the time, because you because it's intensity. It's intense, doing those runs, and like you said, you're in pain, and it comes with the emotion in the situation. Me, I'm talking to friends, and what do friends do? We cuss at each other. I mean, us bringing our upbringing, we were friends. We use a lot of cuss words, and you're probably right. Some people are probably right. I shouldn't, because kids mind businesses, or whatever. You want to cater to all the listeners, but then again, it's not your true self, like you said, right? So,
Right.
And then also the other situation with my kid. Don't get me wrong. I just didn't grill him the whole time. I told him,
Right.
hey, listen, I totally understand. The instruction from the instruction was that you're doing your own thing. It's kind of a relaxed. There are scrimmages. They don't really count. They're practice games. But that they put you in that situation as a test to see where your intensity level is, to see where your drive is. How energetic are you? How committed are you and stuff like that. So when you start laxing off, that's a reflection of how we raised you.
Correct.
And how we taught you. I told him, it's like, when have I ever told you, hey, you know what? On a pass ball, walk to the ball with the runner on first. When you have a runner on first, you have a pass ball, because he was catching.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and take your time. Take your time to the ball. Let the runner go all the way to third. Like, when did I ever teach you that? When did I ever say that it's okay?
Yeah.
So I mean, so it was like I don't know. It's like I had to find the balance. I was more balanced I was pissed off. And I was grilling on myself. Like we use the term "smoke them." Right, in the military, we smoked them.
Right.
But like you said, hopefully you got the message.
Well, we live in a society right now where social media and many things are available to us that they weren't before either, right? And so there's a lot of trends going on, a lot of things that people follow, right?
Yeah.
The slapping on the face with a tortilla.
Oh man,
whatever.
I can't take that, bro.
Right.
I cannot take that, bro. Why?
Exactly.
Why does it have to be a tortilla?
Yeah. A flour too. I like flour tortillas. They're messing up a good tortilla.
But what can it be? Why can't it be a pita bread or something?
A pita bread. A hoagie.
Yeah.
A hoagie bread.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I think that so a lot of people follow trends, and so what they get used to at one point or another is right. The situation was the coach has given them an hour or whatever it was to do their own thing,
Mm-hmm.
and so they're all doing. Oh fuck! This is a time off. This is something. Whatever. This is our time, right? I get it. But in my viewpoint, is I just want to get better.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he's a freshman on the team, or he's going to be a freshman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not even on the team yet. Like, he's not officially on the team yet. He hasn't even stepped 1 foot inside that school yet.
Right. And so I guess the thing is that it's a hard thing to do because you want to fit in, right? It's this thing of like, well, if they see me doing over here and doing my thing to get better, they're going to be like, who's this kid? Who does he think he is? Right. And he's trying to gel in with the team too. It's like that person, like when you, I'll give you another example. You work for a company and you're the best at doing your job, and everybody else is like telling you, hey, slow down. We go slow here. Don't make us look bad.
Right.
And so if he's doing some stuff to get better and the whole team isn't doing something, they might come at him and go, hey, kid, come over here. We're not doing that. We're just messing around. This is our time off. Enjoy it. And he's obviously trying to fit in with the kids, but he also knows that he wants to get better, right? And it's a fine line. I get it. But there was a story one time that Andy Lopez, and I think we talked about it last time, Andy Lopez told my brother when he was playing at Pepperdine. And he said, look, as you guys drive on the freeway, there's a herd of cows, right, up on a hill. And they're all together in a big herd following each other. But there's always one cow that's away from the herd, and that's called a courageous cow. Be a courageous cow. Okay. Don't follow the herd all the time. Yeah. Those are the people that step up. The cows that do
find a different way. Yeah.
Yeah, that think for themselves and understand.
Right.
That you got good things going on. And so I always remember that, and I always try to think of, like, in a situation that I'm in, I'm going to be a courageous cow today.
Yeah. So, that's good. That's a good point. And you're part of the herd, but then you're that one that always finding a different way, or because and and in hindsight, you're helping out to her because if you can find an easier way, or if you're being like a scout, you're gonna share that with the herd, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing in baseball. Like if you're working hard and you're hustling everywhere you go and you're going 100%, what's that gonna do? The other kids are gonna see that,
Yeah.
and they're gonna do the same thing. So yeah,
As well as I know when we were growing up, it was trying to fit in, right?
yeah,
It's finding that you're the new person, trying to come up on the team, new players, new friends. Some are seniors, some are juniors. They've been there a little bit. They know the program, and you want to fit in. But I think the lesson is it more important to find friends, or is it more important to get better and help out your team?
Right.
What's the goal purpose?
right.
And so it's a fine line still for kids to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, if you're doing the right thing, they shouldn't hate on you, right? Then that's their problem. It's not your problem,
Yeah,
right? It's like that person that drinks and then they're like, "Hey, I'm not drinking anymore." If he's a really good friend, you'd be like, "Hey, man, great job, keep going."
Oh yeah,
If he's not a good friend, he'd be like, "Come on, just one shot, una tequila,"
Mhm.
So it's the same thing with baseball. It's like if the players are seeing that one person is working while the other ones are slacking, they shouldn't put him down. They should actually be like, maybe we should be doing that.
yeah.
I
I remember one time when I first started my freshman year, and we had fall ball, and it was my first time on the field with the team. In that situation there was like 30 people on the roster because it was varsity and JV, all in one group, and I was taught that when you get the opportunity, it's almost like a tryout wherever you go. You got to go 100%. You got to show them. You got to show somebody out and stuff like that, right? And so I remember we're playing the game, and the coach had said, "Man, all you returners better learn from these freshmen. They're gonna take you guys out. These freshmen are out playing you guys, and they've never stepped on a baseball field with the team before, and they already know what to do and stuff like that." And you know what? That felt good when he said that.
Yep.
That felt good. So, and that's what made me kind of mad too. That's what bothered me the most was because I told my kid before he even stepped up, he played his first game in summer ball. I told him, hey, first opportunity they give you to step on that field with the team, you're going to go 100%. This is a tryout for you.
Yeah.
So for him to snack off like that, that's what bothered me the most. And then you start thinking, well, he's a freshman, he's still young. It's the first time he experiences it. So you got to give him a chance. But I don't know. My wife had said that maybe we were too hard on him, but
I train a lot of kids, and look, they all at one point or another going to slack off. Something's off that day, and they're tired. I know your son; he works hard. He's one of the hardest working kids out here, right? Putting always his effort and getting better. But there's days
yeah.
it happens, and and you saw that, and you got right back into him, and he probably noticed it himself, going, "Wow, maybe I didn't catch myself, slacking off," or yeah, I was on purpose, whatever that might be. But, in general, obviously, he's a great kid and he puts in the work. So
I appreciate it.
There'll be those days,
Yeah.
We all slack off.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, and we'll right now we'll talk about your podcast and what made you think, or what gave you the idea to create this podcast, and what's the overall message?
Yeah, it's called Can't Be Broken, and it's basically trying to take self-inventory of yourself before you get to that position of catastrophe or obstacles or something bad that's happened in your life that you have to take inventory to change.
Mm-hmm.
I'm challenging people right now to look at themselves and find out their weak spots, find out their strengths, find out how they can get better. And it's just a message of overcoming adversity,
Mm-hmm.
of anybody who's going through some bad times, whether it be family, financial, work, marital, or are in ultra running, triathlons, or any adversity that's going on out there that you want to overcome. And it's just trying to give advice and tips to our audience on how to overcome those, and how myself and EA, have overcome some of our adversities.
Right.
But we're going to have some people on in a couple of weeks, 2 females that are Latinas. The one's an ultra runner. The other one was a fitness pro. started her own gym and started a workout or her own version of yoga and Butoga. It's called Butoga.
Okay.
And so she'll be on. We're going to interview them. It's going to be a blast. They're going to give different advice. It's always good to hear from different people giving different advice and tips on how to overcome adversity.
Right. And you hooked up with the EAS and something. How did that come about?
That's funny. We were at I was at a local carnival here assisting and helping out, donate some money to one of the schools and clients that I have here.
Right.
And he was wearing a Raider hat. And I'm a big Raider fan, and I'm wearing a Raider hat. And I just happened to say Raiders. You know how we Raider fans do it.
Yeah.
And
well,
he responded.
At least the Oakland fans say that Raiders, but
exactly.
You've seen those videos, that the New Vegas fans don't know what is that about.
No, they don't know what's going on. and so then we communicated. I went up to him, started talking about Raiders and whatnot, and we exchanged numbers and started talking, and we followed each other on social media. And he went through something that was tragic, and he had been following me, and I think he finally reached out to me and said, "Hey, man, I have something to run by you." And we talked, and then after that time we hadn't met, and so we met, and we had a couple meetings before to make sure that we were going to vibe. And it was a great story, and it was just like we were like-minded people that wanted to do something, and it's a perfect fit right now.
That's good, man. That's good. And then you also have your own like 8-minute sessions, right? Or short sessions, right? They call the Sea Monster set, right?
Mindset. Yeah, the Sea Monster mindset. It was just something that came about because I always do on social media, on Instagram. If you guys don't follow me, it's at UAG Fit. So just the initials UAG Fit on Instagram. And I go on there for 15 seconds and I just kind of give little tips of advice or 30 seconds of motivational stuff or stuff that I feel I should pop in that day. But I felt that I can further explain on it. So then I'm like, why not get on there on the podcast and throw out Sea Monster's mindset? So,
yeah, I take a lot. They're short, but they have a lot of content. And those I'm always looking forward to those.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's good, man.
A lot of cuss words in those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I threw it out to a friend last time, actually a family member, and I'm like, "Hey, I have a podcast." "Oh, really?" And she has 2 kids, and she goes, "Can my kids listen?" And I'm like, "No." I wish.
Yeah, my boy, he listened to it, and he's like, "Whoa, hey, whoa!" I said, don't mind the cuss words. Listen to the message, say whoa to the message. Listen to the message. Overall, stuff like that. But yeah, it's good. It's good. It's intense.
Yeah,
and it gets you. Your full attention is to it for those 8 minutes, and what you take away from that is like more. It's like if you just listen to a 2-hour podcast.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we're always like your podcast and my podcast and anything we do. There's always going to be whether it be criticism or whether it be somebody telling you that you could do this better or do that better or you should do this.
Right. You
know what? Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for the info. Thanks for the feedback.
Right.
But this is my platform to use it as I want. I hope you continue to listen.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm super happy how I'm just being real and truthful. And I hope the message comes out as clearly as possible. And maybe it impacted somebody else more than you.
Right.
But that's all I can do, right? Because I can't please everybody. As in your podcast, you can't please everybody. I'm sure you've gotten some feedback that goes, "Hey, talk about this more.
Yeah.
Hey, do this, do that."
And
what you do.
You only can do is appreciate the feedback. And you just let them know, hey, thanks for the feedback. But however, we want to stay to what's the idea of the show. Like we had an idea, a suggestion. Oh, you guys should talk about the different foods in the cities and in the stadiums. Like, what do you eat at the stadiums? And and that's a good idea. But I don't know. We're not a food podcast. We're not foodies. I mean, we eat a lot of food. But But I mean, it's not wrong. You can't say you don't know what you're fucking talking about. No, because it's a listener, and they're giving us suggestions. And everybody has different tastes and stuff like that. and that's what makes the show good. And I'm pretty sure that's your audience is different in every way, and that's what makes the show or the podcast good too.
Yeah, no, I love criticism, man. I love feedback. I
Yeah.
love suggestions because I never close the door because it could be a great one. I'm like, damn, I didn't think of that. That's
Hmm.
that's really good. We're gonna take that into
Yeah.
consideration.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
And whatnot. And maybe right now at this point, I'm like, man, we're not gonna do that. And later on, I'm like, man, we should have been doing that a long time ago. But
Right.
at the end of the day, um, it's still, we're still in control of it and how
Right.
we want to present it and how we want and what audience we want to try to achieve. And I'm just learning and I'm
Yeah.
just having fun with it, man. Having fun talking to you and coming on more podcasts and
Appreciate it, man.
just coming out here and getting an audience and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
So you've been watching the Dodgers lately, or?
I was at the game yesterday.
Oh yeah, that was a
Yeah,
good game,
man.
huh?
Yeah, that was a good game, man.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts is a beast. He's beasting out right now again.
Right. Freeman just staying hot.
Yeah, Freeman, man.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Muncie's not doing well.
No. But you know what?
I-
That's another thing too, because I was watching a podcast, um, and it's a Yankees podcast, right? It's the East Coast Sports, and one listener came on and said they need to get rid of Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo's not doing shit, and this, and that. And this guy, I forget his name. He said, and he got mad, like he got really super mad. He's like, he's not hurting the team, right? The team is in first place right now. With sometimes they have the best record in baseball for a while, and if he's not hurting the team, you're not going to stand like Joey Gallo, and then the team's not doing too good. Then you get rid of him or whatever the case may be. And if he's still good defensively, you're still going to put him in the lineup because the team is still producing, still winning games, and that's the same thing with Muncie.
That's a good point.
You
That's
know?
a good point. I didn't think about it like that. It just hurts because, I saw him yesterday. I was at the game, and when he struck out, he struck out looking, and obviously he didn't think it was a strike.
Right.
And you can see his head was down, like his confidence was gone. It's like
Right.
he's lost right now, trying to understand where his mind is at more than anything. And
Yeah.
so it's frustrating but it's amazing job that they're continuing to give him the shot, the opportunity to go out there and work through it.
Yeah.
Right, like work through whatever's going on right now.
Yep.
But I also feel that sometimes if they were to drop him to AAA to work through it,
Mm-hmm.
that might be a different option. And I'm not saying that they should drop him right to AAA for that reason. I just think that sometimes getting away from Dodger Stadium and the Major League, MLB life from that, going back to AAA is very inspiring. Not only that, because he'll be in a minor league team with people that are going to look up to him. It's going to be a different atmosphere. He might get a different perspective and work through it there and come back, right?
And there's no question that he's not going to work through it because he's been released. Like there's a program, the A's just basically gave up on him. Like they just released him and said, no, it's not going to work out. And he kept working through that. He went back to Baylor where he got signed where he went to school and he worked his ass off. He had a strength and conditioning coach. He was out in the cages every day, a million swings a day. And then he got signed by the Dodgers and look, he tore it up. And like you said, you just got to work through it. And I think that's probably not a bad idea. Send him down to AAA, have him tear it up, get some confidence back,
When you're in a slump, I mean, you'll try everything, right? Bunting and getting hit by a pitch,
Right. Like we
putting on different socks.
We call go get the Slump Buster, right?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to mention that, but yes, Slump Buster.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
you know.
Hey, what's up, listeners? This is Mitz, letting you know that Street Talkers is sponsored in part by Agent Obeda and the Agent Obeda Realty Group. So if you're thinking about buying, if you're thinking about selling, if you're thinking about refinancing, call the Agent Obeda Realty Group. Right now, there's a $17,000 grant for first-time home buyers. That means free money for you towards the down payment of your first house.
Hey, Mitch, you know what? I bought my first home with Agent Ubeda, and I did not get those $17,000. I'll tell you that right now. But you know what? He was when he helped us buy our first home. in Mission Hills about 7 years ago. He worked hard. I know he was barely getting into a business, and you know what? He worked. He answered every question that we had. He helped us with all the paperwork. He even helped us move our stuff. I mean,
How
this guy will work for you.
how long ago was that,
Uh,
Wawa?
he will help us like in 2014,
So and he was
and
barely
it,
getting into the business when he helped you out.
he was barely getting to business. If it wasn't his first home that he sold, it might have been his second.
And he was helping you that much starting out.
And he was helping, like working hard. And I'm not just saying this because he helped us so much, but he did an awesome job. And then 7 years later, to the day when we sold our home in Mission Hills and moved to Simi Valley, he helped us again. And
So
I
he didn't
can't say
just
enough.
he didn't help you just sell one house or buy one house and then he helped you sell another house and then buy another house.
He helped us sell our home in Mission Hills and then help us buy our home in Simi Valley. And
Wow.
all again, stayed late into the night helping us move. Uh, he made the move as if there were some hiccups, but he helped to the transition to be as smooth as possible. So I can't say enough good things. He is a friend, so it's like and I'm not trying to pump him up in that way, but he works hard. He's gonna answer all your questions, and if you're thinking about refinancing, if you're thinking about, especially if you're thinking about buying, you gotta contact the agent Yabeta.
So there you have it, folks. Take it from Wawa. He's bought a house and he sold a house and he bought another house off of Agent Obeta. That should tell you something, folks. Phone number is 818-482-9505. I'll say it again. 818-482-9505. That's Agent Obeta and the Agent Obeta Realty Group. Now back to the show. Enjoy. So Muncie just needs to figure it out. Like you said, it'll be send him down to AAA. Say that he has an injury or something. And just tear it up in AAA and hopefully he comes back with a little bit more confidence and because like you said, the whole state, the whole major league atmosphere, a lot of people there, you're busy, constantly busy. You go down to AAA, you have time to fix on a swing or change something mechanically,
Correct. Yeah, it's a different atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes you need to step away from baseball. I know I did it when I was in college. I was struggling my junior year at CSUN.
Mm-hmm.
And I was probably that guy that they needed the most in order for us to go one game short of the College World Series,
Right.
Put CSUN up on the map up there. We were at Stanford. And so anyways, my coach, Mike Batesel, who's the head coach at Fresno State now, took them to the College World Series. Wanted me to see more balls, get a little bit more work, and go play summer ball at the Northwood League in Wisconsin.
Right.
And I was like, you know what, sir, with all due respect, I need some time away. I've been playing since I was 4 or 5 years old on 3, 4, 5, 6 different teams, and I just need to get away from baseball for a little bit.
Wow.
We went back and forth and debated about that. And I said, if you can just trust me and let me figure it out on my own, I would appreciate that. And he did. And so I came back my senior year, and I tore it up. I was batting over 400 pretty much the whole year until, the last 2 weeks. I kind of went into a little bit of a slump, and I ended up batting, I think it was 375 or 380 with some home runs, and really led the team in like the less, I didn't have a lot of errors at second base. And so it was one of my best years, Division I college ball, and it was because he allowed me to search for what I needed, to overcome that adversity that I was going through.
That's good.
And so I think, for Muncie, it's the same, could be the same thing. He's thinking about it too much. Sometimes we overthink things, and he's trying to figure out, but also it's like, just get away, man. Just get away. And I don't know, maybe he's tried that. I have no idea, right? But he looks lost right now.
Right. Like
unfortunately.
He didn't like almost 100% recover from his injury. That took him out for the season last season, and maybe it's bothering him again. I don't know. Who knows? A lot of players want to play through injury because they don't want to lose their spot. And that's, they don't say anything.
There was a play, I forgot what inning it was, but it was middle, probably like fifth inning or something, and there was a ball hit to him. He was playing third base yesterday,
Mhm.
and he made an error. It was a tough play, but he definitely could have made the play. And there was a runner on first, and there was a ball hit again to him, and he turned a double play. So he made
Okay.
ground ball, threw it over to second base, and they turned a double play, and that's good to see.
Yeah.
Because when somebody makes an error, it's almost sometimes you're like, shit, don't hit the ball to me again. But the ball was hit right back to him, and he had a chance to make another play, and he did.
But
So
that
that's good
always
to see.
happens, right? That always happens when you make an error, the ball's gonna find you again.
The ball will find you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And so that was good for him to overcome that really
Yeah.
quickly.
right.
But it's just I don't think defensively he's lost confidence. I
No.
think he's lost some confidence hitting for sure.
If anything, I mean, because there's a lot of people say, "Oh, he should be playing second base," but he still makes the plays there sometimes,
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Earlier you mentioned, hey, he's not hurting the team, and you're 100% right. They're still winning. They're still 10 games ahead
Mhm.
of I think San Francisco, right?
No,
Or
San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego. But it's that one game when he's coming up when they need him with the
Yeah.
runner on second and third.
Right.
That could hurt them.
That's true. That's true.
So yeah, he's not overall throughout the season hurting the team, but in that one instant when they need him to get a hit
Mhm.
and he's batting one something and he's lost confidence, it could hurt the team at that point, right?
Yeah.
Because it only matters if you're in the playoffs. At the end of the day, it's
Right.
all about championships, right?
That's what I
So
mentioned. Yeah, the playoffs.
you can win and you can have the win in a season. Dodgers could be like break records and all that, but it don't
Yeah.
matter if you don't win it all at that
Exactly.
point, or it doesn't matter if you don't get there and actually do something with it. So,
Right.
well, I'm hoping that right now I don't care what season he's having, as long as when he comes into the playoff season, the postseason, he turns it around, right?
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
he could come up there with those times. So hopefully
Yeah.
he does.
Yeah,
Hopefully he
does.
proves everybody wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, right now, coming from the All Star break, everybody said, All Star hangover. Hopefully they don't dip into that. But I mean, they're about to sweep the Giants today. So
yeah.
they're just, I don't know. It's just crazy how they're playing so good right now. They're playing so good, but like you said, come playoffs is different. You're 0-0, right? 0-0. Nothing matters during the regular season. So
Yeah, they're playing well. They're playing well right now,
Yeah.
and man, they're just extending their lead. They're just sweeping the Giants, which I love,
yeah,
or hopefully sweep the Giants today,
Yeah.
which I love.
yeah.
And I'm sure Gabe Kapler's not happy with that. He's
He's salty already, right? Coming from the Dodgers front office and thinking he was going to get the head coaching job, and then they give it to Roberts. So he was visibly and he publicly expressed his feelings about that. So
yeah.
But
I like him. I played ball with him. He's a local boy out here from Taft and different schools. And
Right.
I played with Gabe Kapler. He's a good person. Yeah, but
He was-
facing
he
the
tore-
Dodgers, baby.
yeah. But he's a beast though, man. Like, and he tore it up in high school, and and he came up with the Tigers. He was a prospect, and he's a big dude, man. He's a big guy, huh?
Yeah, he's a well fit person,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's disciplined himself to be that way.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so that's what it takes. I mean, he lived it and did it the right way. He stayed disciplined, and there's a lot of temptations out there, especially at that level, and as you're growing into the minor leagues,
And especially in the era that he was coming up, right?
for sure. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about in the '90s.
The steroid era and all that stuff, and yeah.
Yeah, and so he stayed disciplined, but he's he was like on magazines for most fit baseball player, MLB, and probably most fit manager, I think too.
Probably.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's a beast. He's
Yeah,
an
he's a
animal
beast.
for
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
and he's a very intellectual, smart guy statistically, and knows
Okay.
the game and baseball IQ. So,
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So let's I want to bring up there was a situation, I think it was Friday,
Mhm.
with sign stealing with the Dodgers and Giants. I don't know if you caught that or not.
Which one?
Dodgers and Giants, they were sign stealing, or they were stealing the signs. I think it was from the catcher.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was from the catcher or somewhere, or they were picking it up from Anderson from his glove.
Okay.
So the coach on the Giants, the base coach, positioned himself so he can see the grip in Anderson's glove, because Anderson brings the glove up to his face.
Yeah.
and he shows it. So I think the Dodgers caught on to that, and there was a controversy, and they made the coach move back in the box because I mean the coaches aren't always in the coach's box,
Right. Yeah.
and I think they had they moved them on there. So I was asked like well, isn't that illegal, and why didn't they make a big deal because of the Astros and this and that, and I tried to explain the difference, right, of sign stealing.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing a game, and if you can physically see it, then it's fair. It's in the open, right? It's fair game. But when you start using electronics and equipment from places that are not on the field, that's totally illegal.
Absolutely,
Right?
100%.
Because I'm pretty sure you were taught in high school and in college to make your signs the signs are there for a reason, so you can communicate with your players, so the other team doesn't hear it or the other team doesn't know what's going on.
Right. It's a chess game. I mean,
Yeah.
Look, when I was playing, I tried to steal signs. I was at first base. I'm like, is he going to throw a curveball so I can steal from
Right.
first base? So
Yeah.
you lead off and you peek into the catcher, and if he's giving it away, that's on him.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if a pitcher is going to set up and he rotates his hand inside his glove and he's trying to get a grip for a curveball, that's part of the game. Like, oh, he's throwing a curveball. And if he continues to do that, he's gripping for a curveball. So we're all trying to use an advantage to understand what the pitcher is either going to throw, right? Fastball, curveball, changeup. Are the infielders shifting over right before the pitch? So they're moving. So this is going to be an off-speed pitch, or this is going to be a fastball, depending on which way they're moving.
Yeah.
So we're all doing that, and that's all fair game. That's part of the game. If you're
It's
giving
the
it away, that's your
competitive
fault.
part. Yeah,
that's your fault if you're giving it away.
Exactly.
Right? If you're if you're the coach and you put on weak signs and the other team got you,
but it goes back
better.
It goes back
make
to
them better.
What's the reason you're doing signs is so the other team doesn't know.
Correct. Yeah.
So if you're not hiding those signs well enough, then obviously it's not that important to you.
Yep.
So
when you're doing the Houston Astros things, when you're using cameras or video or some kind of technological stuff from the outfield and zooming in and picking up signs and then transmitting them through wire, some kind of technology. No, you're cheating. You're cheating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you're a player picking up, like, oh, look, he's going to throw this because the shortstop moved to his left or to the right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the shortstop fault. Figure it out. Don't give it up early.
That's recognizing something as a difference to looking for something, right? Like doing what you can outside of the baseball game, outside of the lines.
Understanding the game, understanding that that's part of the game.
Yeah.
Right, look, I'll give you another example. You're in the batter's box as a hitter, and you see the catcher with your peripheral vision setting up outside before.
That's the catcher's fault. That's the catcher's fault. Yeah.
That's the catcher's fault for setting up too early.
Yeah.
Right? Or the catcher might be like, I'll set up outside because the batter's going to think this.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now he's trying to play with you. And you don't know that, and that's part of the game.
Yeah.
That's part of the game right there,
Yeah.
And so those are things that we all look at, the catchers, the defense, the offense, the game. That's part of the game. But when you're using technological stuff and videos and all that stuff to do that, then you're cheating. But everything else is fair game.
Exactly.
Make them better.
Yeah, make them better. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. So, the Dodgers, Roberts had said, I need that coach in the box. Of course, the Giants are going to have a problem with it and this and that. But, hey, the box is there for a reason. If you're coming out of the box and you're coaching from outside the box and the other team doesn't say it, that's almost like as a courtesy, Be grateful that that the other opposing team didn't confine you to the box earlier,
Right.
So
yeah, obviously they're going to have a problem with it because they got caught.
Yeah.
And it was working for them.
Yeah.
And part of the managers or the team's thing is to go, hey, well, we're going to use this as our tool so that he's not cheating. We're going to say, get back in the box. And so we're going to bring it to the attention. And obviously the person that got caught, which was the Giants or whatever, they didn't like it because they got caught. And so that's a whole chess.
And other ways, I know it's probably not done now, or maybe it does. Probably not as much as before. But if a pitcher suspected of a team stealing signs, guess what's going to happen? That batters are the ones going to take the consequences of that. It's not going to be, the coach saying, okay, he needs to be back in the box, or Kelly Jensen balking on purpose to move him to third. Other pitchers like Nolan Ryan, he said it himself. I think you're stealing signs. You're going to take one to the dome, right? Take one to the back. So,
oh yeah, yeah, those are all the repercussions of getting caught. And the players are the ones taking them. Exactly, the $1 million deals are the ones gonna pay for it.
yeah.
In the back hopefully, or somewhere where there's no damage. But that's baseball, man. And I hope things like that don't change. I was so coming from an old school and playing second base. Obviously, one of the things I enjoyed was when there was a double play situation. The ball was hit to either third or short, and I had to turn the double play, and I didn't know where they were at.
Oh
man, how close they are, if they're going to take me out.
Right.
Sure, it's dangerous for sure, but that was the fun of it. How am I going to step through this bag? Am I going to step behind it, through it, right at it? How close are they? It's it was really cool. And so some of that stuff that now people have to slide into second, and not anywhere else. I like when the people break up double plays because that's part of the game. That was part of the game.
Yeah.
That
right.
You could break that up. That was you were taught this is how you're going to break up a double play. You're going to slide and roll into them, or different ways.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and then also there was a difference of breaking up a double play, and then just outright trying to hurt that player.
Right. Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
I mean, I was taught, hey, break up the double play, come in sliding, but bend your legs. Hit him with the knee, or just make it a hard slide and make some noise. Because sometimes, like you said, you don't know where he's at, and you hear that slide and you hear that hard footsteps coming in, it'll throw you off a little bit, and that was the main goal, was just take his attention away from trying to make that throw to first base. You're not out there trying to hurt him. You just take that attention away from him, and that's it.
Yeah, there's a malice to it when there's an intent to try to hurt somebody.
Right.
That's not part of the game. That's malice. That's bad. That doesn't belong in any sport at all.
Yeah.
Right. Even when we used to have used to take out the catcher at home plate, pretty much at all times.
Yeah.
That was part of the game. But when there has been malice points when somebody's trying to break up a double play and that person's trying to intentionally hurt the second baseman or the shortstop.
Right.
That doesn't belong there. But it's been more controlled, obviously now in MLB. But I wish they brought some of that stuff back. That'd be pretty cool.
yeah. You're right, because they're always trying to change things in the game right now, and it's sometimes I think it's getting ridiculous now.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, what else are they going to change? What else are they going to do? And it's just like every year something different that. And I hate to say it, and I don't want to bring any political stuff, but it's also more of our freedom is going away, and it's like freedom from baseball. Like what happened to certain things happening? Seeing a good brawl, and and not having a full year suspension or whatever it's going on. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Going overboard with some of the stuff that's part of the game and some of the stuff that doesn't belong in the game.
Right.
So what doesn't belong in the game would be somebody getting a bat and using it as a weapon.
No, that's too much. Yeah.
Things like that, things like drugs or steroids or whatnot, for sure. But things that belong in the game that are part of the game is you're gonna throw at somebody. You're gonna get hit if you pop off and hit a home run and stand there and watch it.
Yeah.
You're gonna get hit, and maybe that guy would get thrown out of the game. Great, that's part of the game. But further suspension than that is not. It's part of the game.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta keep in mind, a lot of these players that are playing now, that's the way they were brought up and taught. So, and that's what the competitive is a part of that game, and those competitive actions is what got them there to that level. So you can't ask a player to be like, change it now. No.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
The other viewpoint would be that why it's changing is because it's become more. There's more money involved, right? And so the owners, if you're the owner of the team and you've invested a lot of money in Trout or a player, right? Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, whoever it might be.
Yeah.
And you want to hold on to that investment because it's a big return. And if he's not playing, obviously you're not winning on your investment. And so they've been looking at it as as a company, which it is, it's a business, and so I'm sure they're pushing for more restrictions and more ways to hold on to their investment and protect their investment.
Yeah.
They're looking at it from that point, right? And I get it, but it's still a game. It's called
still
a baseball game.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And so
And your moneymaker is the fans. So
Right.
the fans want something to watch, want something to look at, and
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Yes,
speaking
sir.
of big contracts and big money,
Ooh.
let's talk about Soto.
Oh my God, Soto.
So everybody wants him, right? And look, I mean, listen, I've talked on this episode. I don't know if you heard or not, Cesar, but I mean, I really don't like. As a player, he's great. He's young. He's a big sized kid, and he can straight out play. He can ball.
Yep.
There's no question about that.
Right.
He has Hall of Fame potential. I just don't like. People are gonna call it swag. I call it mannerisms. They call it the Soto Shuffle. And he does. The characteristics when and anything with that. But I mean that's the way the game is being played now. The swag as you call it. But I mean the Dodgers were a competitor at getting him, but I don't think it's gonna sit well. It might sit well with the fans and stuff like that, but I don't think it'll sit well with the Dodgers organization and this and that, because we've had people. I mean, we have players like that before, and the captains on the team, like the Justin Turners and stuff like that. They really they try to nip that in the butt nowadays. So, but I don't know. I mean,
yeah. I think look, Soto's a great player. Nothing against him. He can swing it. He can run. He can play the game. He's one of the best out there for sure. The way I always look at things is you can't bring too many superstars to a team.
Yeah.
The Dodgers are stacked right now. They got Freddie Freeman. They got Mookie Betts. Those are superstars, right? Trey Turner. Those guys are elite level guys. And so when you bring too much, trying to create an all-star team on one team, there's too many Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? Too many Chiefs.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll point it out. That happened with the Lakers in basketball. They tried to create this last season, and it didn't go well. Everybody was a Chief, right?
Yeah.
And in baseball, it's the same thing. Look, it's not one or two of the best players. Angels have one or two of the best players in Major League Baseball with Trout and Ohtani and stuff, right, in the game right now. But it's the atmosphere, like you said. It's the totality of the team and how they're vibing and how they gel together and how they work together. And I think the Dodgers are really good right now on how that's happening.
Yeah.
I remember when Puig came in, he went off his first year, and then it became like the Puig show.
Yeah.
Right, licking bats and taking his tongue out when he slid at third and all that.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't vibing, and so they kept Adrian Gonzalez to try to almost teach him, hey, look, calm down. This is how we're playing. This is what we're gonna do. And it just kind of didn't work, and I think that's why they released him. And then he went to another team, and it didn't work well with him. And I think he's playing
Korea
Japan now.
In Korea.
In Korea, yeah. And so I think it'd be the same thing with Juan Soto bringing him over here. I think it's one of those things that just wouldn't gel with the team. Great player. I mean, I'd love to have him, obviously, but we built our team around Mookie Betts, Freeman, and some other people there, based on the way that Mookie Betts handles himself outside of the field as well.
Right.
And I think that's what the Dodgers, why they're successful is the way they carry themselves right now.
Yeah, and then also the Nationals are asking for a lot. They're asking for 4 or 5 either prospects or current young major league players that are producing. So they're looking for the future, right? So, and the Dodgers, they already said, if we give that, then that's it. We have nothing left because we already gave up a lot of prospects for the players that we have now. So yeah, I don't think the Dodgers are gonna make that deal.
No, I mean, look, the Dodgers know that their farm system. Everybody knows that the Dodgers farm system is amazing.
Yeah,
and that's what's made the Dodgers, so good throughout the years is that they've been able to produce from within, create their own family, as we would say. We know who they are from the beginning, and this is the way it's moving all the way up to the top, rather than just always doing trades or whatnot. But The Dodgers farm system is amazing, and all the teams know that, and that's why they want that.
Yeah.
The team wants that. Give me four of your farm system players. The guys that are going to be amazing and superstars. The Dodgers aren't going to let that go.
No,
nothing against Juan Soto, but I just think I want the best for him. So I think the best thing would be for a team that wants to build around him.
Yeah,
and I don't know what that team is, but somebody who wants that lefty hitter who can play, and then they'll build around him.
Right.
Get some pitching, get another hitter that's going to protect him, and do that. But I don't see him in our lineup, even though he's a great player. I mean, I just don't see him gelling with the Dodgers now.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And then, like you said, the Dodgers are going to give up too much.
Yeah.
For him. Even though we have the farm system to do it, but then we'll be left with the same farm system.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is a lot of money. And then he turned down like a 15-year, $450 million contract. Dude. He turned it down.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. So
everybody wants that big payday. I don't know, man. I'm a team guy.
Can you? Yeah, I know you're a team guy, but can you blame him as the major leagues and if there's a team that's willing to be paying you that much, I don't know. Why not? And then he has Scott Boras as an agent. So
it's a business. Look, it's a business. You're trying to get as much as you can and for your family, and, and all that stuff. And I get it, but how much is too much? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, 450 million or 400 million. Well, I don't want to give up 50 million of it. Come on, you know what I'm saying? It's going to hurt you. So I think there's a situation in a football player that I think it's Mahomes, who gave up some money in order to get some wide receivers and some team around him. And I think that's respectable. I think that at one point or another, he goes, man, I'm already making money off other deals.
Yeah.
I'm making money off this or that I can give some up so that we can win. And if we're going to bring in some wide receivers or some protection or whatnot. So I think it's the same thing in baseball. I think there's too much, and then there's a little bit of like, let me give a little bit of away so that we can get some pitching on our team, or we can do this or whatnot to help out our team, because that's the whole point. If your team wins, you win.
You win, yeah.
Because you're on winning teams, and everybody wants that. Look what happened with Freddie Freeman when the Atlanta Braves won. He had more value.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers ended up getting him, but he had value because he was on the championship team. And not only that, everybody on that team had more value now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So with the Angels, what can I say? If Ohtani or Trout is not producing, then they're not looking too good. And even defensively, defensively they're struggling.
Well, I just think they're struggling in general. On paper, the Angels always look great.
Yeah.
Right? They're like the best paper-looking team every year.
Yeah.
Like, man, the Angels look good. Rendon and Ohtani and all this. And you're like, man, they look good on paper. But, we talked about it earlier, was it's a vibe. It's an atmosphere. And what kind of atmosphere are you bringing in?
Yeah.
And so I think they've lost some hope. They have like the Muncie mindset, like they're hanging their heads. They don't know what's going on, and unfortunately, it's going to continue to happen because it could be finger pointing too. Underneath things that we don't know, like if the pitching is not doing well and holding them, to stay in the game. People are pointing fingers at the bullpen or whatnot.
The starting pitchers the starting pitching is keeping them in the game,
right?
And sometimes the bullpen will give it up, or the pitching is getting them in the game, because a lot of the games that they're losing are by one run games,
right?
And they're holding the other team to 0 or to 1 or to 2 or whatever the case may be, and that's just it's because they're not hitting the ball.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. It's what we don't know as fans and outside sometimes is what happens inside the clubhouse.
Yeah.
And what happens outside of the clubhouse, back at the hotels or
right.
people going out and who's hanging out with who and who's talking about what's going on.
That's a big thing.
It can be damaging. Yeah. That's damaging to a ball club, pointing out that like, hey man, we need better pitching in the middle, or we need this. It gets around within the team. And so I don't know if they're pointing fingers of something that we don't know about, and that's damaging, their atmosphere, and that's what's going on. But at the end of the day, the way I look at it is like this: don't point fingers. That's like poison, right, to the team. Take responsibility as a team and say, I'm not pointing. They're giving up runs, but then we need to get more runs, right? Like,
Okay. Yeah.
Like it's just fix the atmosphere, and it could be better because it's just poison. I mean, when I was in college, you take full responsibility for whatever. If you made an error, you made an error, and it's damaging to the team. But that was it. Nobody else pointed a finger at me. I was the hardest critic on myself, not somebody else towards me.
Right.
And I don't know if the Angels are doing that, right? If people are pointing fingers, but they all should take responsibility for themselves.
Right.
And that's it. Not point a finger that person we lost because of this person or because they're pitching or middle relief pitching or because this. They know that.
Right.
That person who gave up that run or is not holding them,
they already
know that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Point. Good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like I said, I just, based on that, I don't know if that's the atmosphere going on, and that's why they're not winning. Because they got a good team on paper.
And it's funny that you say that because my boy did a summer with PD in the Montero Baseball Academy, and he brought Dino Evo, the third base coach from the Dodgers. He brought him there one day, and they did a workout with them, and they did got some ground balls, and they turned it, and he actually stopped the workout, the fungal session, and he said, look, I know we're throwing into a net because they were throwing into a net, right? So first they were turning, and then the second baseman would throw to the net. But a lot of those balls were falling just short of the net. They were going into it. So he stopped and he says, look, I get it. It's hard, you're trying to be quick, you're trying to turn it. It's kind of awkward when you throw it. The ball's not going to go into the net all the time. It's not going to be a perfect throw. But if you're the first baseman and that throw is in the dirt, and if you got to pick it, and if you don't pick it, it's your fault. It's not the fault of the second baseman that he threw it wrong. He didn't throw it wrong. His job was to get it to you. Right? It doesn't matter if he's throwing it at your chest or if he's throwing it, a little bit low. But if it's in the dirt, if it's high, if it's away, and you don't catch it by whatever reason, it's your fault. You can't just be like, oh, well, the throw was off. Oh, he shorted it, and he didn't hit me in the chest. No, you can't think like that.
Yeah.
He did his job by receiving it from the shortstop. He had the footwork to touch the base. He had, the mentality to turn his body and make a throw and get it to you. That was his job. Now it's your job to make the out at your base.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, if you guys think like that in a play like that, and if you take that mentality with everything that you do,
right,
then you guys can't go wrong.
Yeah, personal responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second baseman, the shortstop, third baseman, whoever's throwing the ball to that person is doing the best job that he can.
Yeah.
Okay. Then he's kind of almost releasing that job, and now it's your job to catch it.
Yeah. No matter where it is. No matter where it is.
And so, yeah, and that's it. And if you, exactly the way you said it, if you take personal responsibility and in everything you do, that's going to benefit the team there. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. That's a great,
when he said that, value. Yeah, and coming from a coach like him, and that just like, man, I was 40 years old when I heard that from him. You know what I'm saying? And it like blew my mind. Like, wow, that's a great way, or that's a great way to look at it, and especially for his kids, learning that from a young age, that's great. And there was another article that I saw, and they were developing a catcher, and the catcher was beating himself up because he wasn't getting the throws to second. Either they were falling short, or they were tailing to the right, or they were, it just wasn't getting to second. And this coach had said, you know what? I told him, it's not just all on you. He goes, to throw a runner out, it takes 3 people, not just the catcher. And I thought to myself, like, 3 people? And he says, yeah, the pitcher has to give you a good feed, right? If it's a pitch out, or either if they're stealing, they're going to throw away, he needs to give you a good feed. You need to have a good transfer, get the ball over there, and then whoever's taking the throw at second has to be able to receive it too.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's 3 people that's involved in trying to throw a run around. It's not just all on the catcher.
100. Yep.
You know
Exactly.
So that's another way to look at it too.
Yeah. One of the things that when I played, I always said, when a ball comes to me, I've always anticipated a bad throw.
Right.
Because if you anticipate a bad throw, the ones that are perfect are going to be easy. They should be easy right there.
Right.
But if you always expect a good throw, then if you're not expecting a bad throw, it's going to catch you off guard.
Yeah, you don't want to get surprised. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
I always said, always expect the bad throw.
That's good.
And the worst one. Like on a double play, the worst one would be low and behind you.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
You got to go back, take a step back. It's way low. You got to bring the ball up and throw.
Yeah.
So that's the worst one. So I always anticipated that one. But if it came where he was feeding me perfectly to go through the bag and throw, great. It's easy.
Yeah.
But anticipate that bad throw. And so same thing, as a catcher. Okay,
Mhm.
he's stealing, anticipate the worst one that it could be. But if it's a great ball to transfer it on, then great. I'm already ready for that.
Yeah. And all that eliminates the finger pointing, like you were saying. Because you'll see games and you'll see teams like, hey, what happened? Like a play at first, they don't get the out for whatever reason. First base drops the ball or he couldn't pick it. Coach says, hey man, let's go. We got to be better. And he'll automatically, well, it wasn't a good throw. It wasn't a good feed. That doesn't look good. It doesn't look good when you start finger pointing and stuff like that. It just hurts a team in many ways.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that's what's going on with the Angels.
Yeah.
Behind closed doors, some kind of talk, something's happening.
Yeah.
You can just kind of see it.
Even with
atmosphere
Trout.
there.
Even with Trout on the field, you can see his frustration.
Yeah.
He's showing
Sad.
that more and more now. So, and then they're even thinking about trading Ohtani. I just saw an article yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're going to trade Ohtani. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we'll see what happens with them. Hopefully, and I really wanted an Angels-Dodgers World Series this year, but
No, that's not
it
happening.
looks like it's going to be Dodgers and Yankees, which is just as good.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah, did you watch the All-Star game?
I did not. I was working. I had it on, but I didn't really pay too crazy attention to it. I saw some of the highlights, and I thought it was really cool. What I did see a little bit of it because I recorded it. Was I loved how they had the catcher and the pitcher mic'd up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was so cool. That was so cool.
That was cool. They should do that during the regular season.
Oh, man, that'd be so cool.
I mean, not where we can hear it,
right.
but where the catcher and pitcher can hear each other.
Yeah.
That'll be good. But yeah, it was good to experience that, and then your fellow alumni Stanton getting the MVP, man. Giancarlo Stanton, man. Valley guy. So
Notre Dame, baby.
yeah, that was cool.
Man. That ball was as soon as he hit it, you knew it was gone.
Oh yeah,
it was launched.
Yeah.
It was good for him to see it, to do it here, right in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
And get the MVP,
Right.
and all that. Even though I don't like the Yankees, but good for him.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, it's good for him because he grew up coming to Dodger games here, and I actually talked
his
to
family
Petey.
here.
Yeah, I had his family here. I talked to Petey, who's the who's on the coaching staff.
Yep.
Who's a video coordinator for the Dodgers right now. That episode is going to come out soon. I recorded with him a session with him, and he talks about you grow up a Dodger fan, you go to the games, you're in awe of the players there, and your dream and your goal is to either be a player or be a member of the Dodgers, and he talks about that. It's a dream come true, man. Dream come true. He's like, I'm actually coming in through the players' entrance now instead of, coming out of the parking lot. I'm actually going in where the players go, and I have an actual Dodger uniform, certified by the Dodgers. Like I'm wearing on the field gear representing the Dodgers. He goes, it's a great feeling, And
he's a great person. I ran into him, thank God, through social media, and then we happened to talk one time when I was training somebody in the Valley, and he happened to be training somebody, and we had kind of followed each other, and we began to talk, and we're at one point going to try to do something together. And I don't know him that well, but what I do know about him is a great person, and good things happen to good people, and I'm glad it's happening to him.
Yeah, that's what I told him too. I told him the exact same thing. We couldn't be more proud, being a San Fernando alumni, and then I know him and his dad really well, and seeing somebody that you know really well succeeding like that, you can't be more happier.
And he's staying humble. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. I mean, he's still over here, taking time out of his schedule to talk with you and do a podcast. And I know people that know him, and they've gone to the games, and he comes out and takes pictures and says hi to everybody.
That's the main thing. Yeah,
it's amazing to people when you get to that level, and you're working. I mean, he's working.
Yeah,
right?
He is.
Like when people go see him, he's at work.
Yeah,
he's not like and so he still has time to say what's up to people and take pictures and do all that. So. Good for him. Stay humble, and he's a very knowledgeable guy, and I'm sure he's going to get much further and higher wherever he wants to go in that organization or whatever organization, but in baseball, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. He's a good guy. So, listeners, look out for that episode. I talked to Petey, talk a lot of good stuff, and he actually mentioned you too.
He does?
Yeah. We talked about how my
hope it's good.
No, you said
if not, I'll take it all back.
Because because I had mentioned that he's working out with you. He's been working out with you almost a year now, and he said, "Oh yeah, Cesar's a real good guy. He's real good people." And so at the
end of the day, when people speak about me, at least I don't really want to have the thing. Oh, he's the best trainer. Or he's really knowledgeable. I just want people to say, "Man, he's a good person."
Mm-hmm.
Sure, the other things that's why they're here to get better, stronger, so and so, but. Are my intentions the best for the kids to have them grow mentally, mind, body, and soul? And so if somebody like Petey or somebody else says, man, he's just a good person, that's a compliment to me. That goes a lot further than anything else. So.
And then one of your messages is you can't succeed alone, right? It's your circle and who you have around you. That's one of the factors, right? Is self-motivating and stuff like that. You have to have a good circle. So having a good circle, like you, having like Petey, having a circle like that, or having just friends like that, and as far as my point of view, is great.
Yeah, no, I mean it takes it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And so for sure, I've tried to surround myself with good people, knowledgeable people of where I want to go, a good circle.
Mm-hmm.
In various aspects. One, I'm surrounding myself with you right now, who has his own podcast, and Wawa and everybody who's on the podcast, so I can learn, and I'm getting better and whatnot, and so then strength and conditioning, and then ultra running and triathlons. They're all different tribes that I'm just trying to grow from.
Yeah,
right. And so that's what people need to do is be open-minded and surround themselves with good people that they're just going to continue to grow.
That's good. Yeah, that's great, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's get into the walk-off, man. I mean, we talked a lot of good stuff, man.
Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you for joining. Obviously, Wawa, Gomez, and Pancho couldn't make it. We have all things to do. We're all fathers, and but I appreciate you helping out and coming out, man, and you're a baseball guy. You know what's up, and that's why one of the reasons why I asked you to come and do the podcast with me, man.
I appreciate the opportunity. Always be on this podcast. To me, the opportunity is amazing to come on here, talk baseball, just talk. I mean, having a conversation here and whatnot. And thanks again, man. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah,
I know some of the listeners don't understand how the commitment it takes to create this, the editing, and all these different things.
Yeah.
And so it's a time, and like you said, you guys are fathers and have kids, and people are busy and whatnot. And I'm just happy to step in and help out and also be on here, and it's exciting for me.
And then also, Pancho couldn't do the podcast because he has a playoff game actually today. Yeah,
okay.
with the Hokies, and so yeah, and it's in the semifinals right now with the SFV, but we'll bring that up in a little bit. So starting with the Pacific Coast Baseball League, the schedule today, the CBA Tigers actually already forfeited the game for today, but the thing is, the CBA Tigers play in 3 different leagues. They play in the California Elite team, they play in the CBA, and then they play in the PCBL. Actually, no, they play in the SFV league. So, yeah. It wasn't a playoff game in the PCBL. They have other playoff games in the California Elite. I think they're going to play the Cubs on their semifinal game. The Whalers are going to play the Skunks today at El Camino. The Santa Clarita Quakes will play the Platoon at Cleveland, and the Raptors are playing the Dodger Dogs at San Fernando. So that's the schedule for the PCBL and the major wood bat division. So in the San Fernando Baseball League, the semifinals, you have the Pachecos against the Hokies, which is Pancho's team. They play at 9 o'clock today in Balboa. And then at 12 o'clock at Balboa, it's La Villita versus the Park Bums. The Silmar Bombers got taken out in the first round. You know, they were undefeated, and they were like first place. And, you know, they were the defending champs from last season. But like I said, it's baseball. You know, anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen in that. So good luck to all those teams out there in the San Fernando Valley Baseball League. In the CBA League, you have the A1A in the AAA division. You have the A1A Mariners. They're going to play the Isotopes. That's going to be a good game. Brantford at 9 a.m. And then you have the LA Knights against the undefeated Forever Venados at Pacoima at 9 a.m. So good luck to those teams there, man. And the California Elite League, the California Elite team, they're doing playoffs, which is best 2 out of 3. It's not just a 1-game playoff.
That's good.
Yeah,
I like that.
let me see here.
That's what that other team needed, so they didn't get bounced.
Yeah,
You know, you get another chance. You know.
yeah, you get another chance. Yeah. So the Tigers are playing the Cubs. The CBA Tigers playing the Cubs today. It's actually a doubleheader. First game's at 9:30, and the second game is at 12:45. So, good luck to those teams out there. A lot of good playoff baseball out there in the Sunday League. I'll be going to the Hokies game to go check out Pancho. Take some video of him when he strikes out. Not just kidding. But yeah, I'll be out there with my boy. We'll go out there for a little bit. And
great weather too right now.
Oh
great
yeah. It's not hot. You know, it's perfect. Perfect. Actually, when it came out this morning, I thought it rained overnight or something.
Yeah. No, it'll start getting warmer for sure, but great weather for this great baseball weather, I think.
Yeah.
At least. Oh, great running weather too for me.
Yep. Well, all right, Cesar, thank you very much, man. Thank you for coming out and you know, having this session with us, with the Street Talkers. Yeah. Hopefully we can do this again. And if you want to plug your podcast one more time and where they can contact you and reach you.
No, thank you very much for having me on this podcast. I appreciate the opportunity. If anybody wants to, listen to a podcast that I have going on with EA Essence, it's at Can't Be Broken on Instagram. And then if you want to listen to our podcast, we're on Spotify, Apple, all the other major streaming services. At Can't Be Broken. Mm-hmm. I'm also on Instagram as UAG Fit for strength conditioning services, whether it be losing weight, getting in shape, ultra running, triathlons, and specifically baseball, softball, strength conditioning, fundamental or optimal movement at UAG Fit. And thank you guys again. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Well, thank you, Cesar. All right, listeners, thank you for tuning in, and hopefully you guys keep listening. Again, I'm Instagram, Streak Talkers PC on Instagram, and then also Streak Talkers PC on Twitter. All these episodes are available to listen on YouTube as well. So go ahead and subscribe to us at YouTube. Listen to us on YouTube. We appreciate that. And thanks again, listener. We'll see you guys next week.